Hello.
Mr. Hudson, how are you?
Good afternoon, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing well. Glad you're back.
Yeah, I had to take a little trip
Yep.
to meet with Hudson group members.
hmm hmm
So,
A lot of good
it was,
intelligence coming out of that.
yeah, but a lot of disturbing things too, Jason.
Yeah.
Um, to be quite honest about it, we really think that our country is under attack,
Yeah.
and I understand that you want to talk about that later tonight. So,
Yeah. Queen Tut's been assembling a lot of really interesting information, and I know you've been speaking with her, and I think that we'll have a little bit of a powwow tonight.
there are just a lot of strange things taking place that surround Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We are convinced that we're not being told the truth. We're convinced that there were multiple shooters. We're convinced that there were multiple weapons of different calibers. We are convinced that it was a paramilitary type triangulated fire scenario. We just see a lot of things that raise several red flags about the false flag.
hmm
And now, to be quite honest about it, we're concerned about California. We're looking into it and have been, and we're getting some strange information out of California.
The fires, you mean?
Yes, the fires. Now, I understand that, California, because of the lack of rain and the lack of humidity, it's been a tinderbox, and that's understandable. But 17 fires do not start within minutes of each other on the same night in different
Right.
locations. In a large, I mean, we're talking many different locations, and they all started within minutes of each other.
Right.
It'd be understandable if you saw 3 or 4 fires start within, say, a few hundred yards of each other. Maybe due to dry lightning or something like that.
Right.
But when you start taking a look at it and you start computing out where these started and that the areas were near roadways and it ran from south to north, I mean the pattern is there,
Hmm.
and it's almost like these fires started in a designed effort. And what we're hearing is that several people reported to us that they've seen vehicles driving or saw vehicles throwing road flares out.
hmm
On top of that, the fire department went into a particular location where the residential area, and they couldn't use the fire hydrants because the water was turned off.
Wow.
Here we go again. It's the same. It's the same scenario over and over again where we get these false flag events
hmm
perpetrated by traitors, literally traitors to this nation. They're not just criminals; they're traitors committing treason. They're tyrants, and it's like you and I have talked in the past about 9/11, and I said that as an engineer, that there are engineers out there that have looked at this. This is not a matter of did the Twin Towers come down as a result of jets and jet fuel? The answer to that is no,
Yeah.
they did not. And anybody that wants to know the truth of that, they need to go and take a look at the immense, we're talking years of research. I mean, we're talking about engineers that have their masters and even PhDs that have determined unequivocally that 9/11, that the buildings came down, including Building 7, was all by design.
Yeah.
Now we have a situation in Las Vegas where we are literally being told that one man gunned down those individuals. One man did it.
Just can't be.
No, and it's not possible. And the more we look into it, the more other people look into it. And there's a lot of people that are doing some excellent work on this.
hmm
Really are.
hmm
And we commend them for their efforts, because this is what it takes. It takes a crowdsourced community, where you've got these individuals that are not only great listeners, but also people that are willing to do some legwork.
hmm
You've got individuals that do research. God bless their effort for that. You know, they sit there at their own computer and they help to research out and they report that in to crowdsource the truth. Then we've got individuals that are actually willing to spend some money and wear off the leather on their shoes by getting out and actually looking into something in the field.
Yeah.
I commend the whole effort. I commend the audience of crowdsource and the whole concept of it. This is what it's going to take because we are not mainstream media, and we don't have. I say we, but I'm talking about the Hudson groups as well. We've got thousands of dollars invested into, supplying crowdsource the truth with information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining, don't take that wrong. I'm just simply saying that we're not, and you're not, mainstream media. We don't have the advantages of being able to get Gatorade advertising money or Kellogg Rice Krispies advertising money or any advertising money for that matter.
Well, and of course, it's very strategic for individuals who are even, not necessarily that smart, such as people who might be bringing lawsuits against me and those who make videos about it, to say that, I'm some kind of millionaire or I'm just in this for money or whatever. Obviously ridiculous statements, but it hurts the effort of gaining sponsorship for this. This is hardly a extremely profitable endeavor. We really need all the sponsorship we can get, and it's hard for me to position it in such a way that doesn't seem like begging for money, which is not really the way I want to do this, but we really do need sponsorship. And now when these opportunities come up, like, Charles Ortel wants me to go to Los Angeles to investigate a connection between Qatari financing and the Weinstein Company and a couple of these other things. And I want to do that, and it all costs money. Hang on one second, and I'll edit this out. This is Laura calling. Hey, Laura, it's Jason. How are you? No, don't worry about it. Hey, listen, I'm coming out to Vegas, and I just wanted to see how much longer you're going to be there.
Tell her that you have a crucial lead.
Okay. Well, we've got some good leads that I want to share with you, and maybe, if we can meet up while you're out there. I'm just about to change my flight right now because I was going to arrive there on Sunday. There's that press conference from the police on Friday. Do you know what time that's happening, or have they even announced that yet? Okay. Yep. No, I know. Yeah. All right. Well, let's connect. Uh-huh. Right. Interesting. All right. Well, right. Exactly. That's what people don't want. Right. All right. Well, listen, yeah, no, good point. It's interesting. All right. Well, listen, stay in touch, and I'll definitely see you when I'm out there, okay? Yeah, I know. I'm working on it for sure. Bye-bye. Well, that was just Laura. She's all over it out there.
Yeah.
She's saying that Jesus Campos is not an employee and maybe not even a legitimate security employee.
What did we tell you about Jose?
Yeah.
Or Jesus, rather.
Whatever his name is.
Well, what did we say?
You said that he was complicit with the shooter.
We specifically said he needs to be thoroughly investigated, that we're not buying his story. Something did not feel right about that guy, and then lo and behold, the story, I can't tell you why we believed that, but lo and behold, the story changed.
Right.
He's not the time
that he was shot. Right.
Exactly. There's something wrong there.
Right. Well, Laura Loomer's definitely all over it.
Uh-huh.
I need to change my flight.
She's done some fine work.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about that. And we commend her effort. Hopefully she's going to be willing to work together with crowdsource and isn't going to be aligning herself completely and totally with Alex Jones.
No. I don't think she is. Laura's definitely freelance. I mean, we did an interview with her the other day, and she's got her stuff over there with gotnews.com and everything. There's something weird going on with Alex Jones. He was in a disagreement, I believe, with Steve Pieczenik over the whole. Pieczenik was saying nobody was killed, and David Knight disagreed, of course. Something going on there. I'm not sure what.
Well, we had heard that Alex Jones Hopefully she didn't take it, to be honest with you. But Alex Jones tried to hire Laura Loomer. You'd have to see it when he did it because it was so damn vain the way he approached it and stuff. He's just a bully. I'm sorry, but the Hudson groups don't like Alex Jones. Period. There you go. So now people can hate us for it, but we don't care. We don't know where Alex stands. We feel like Alex is a flip of the coin at this point, and the reason we feel that way is, I'm not going to come out and say, oh, well, Alex has paid this info. I'm not going to say that. We don't know. But there's something just not right there. It just doesn't sit well, and especially with me. And his alignment with RDS, Robert David Steele, I'm sorry.
I thought he disavowed him after the Children on Mars thing.
Well, did he? I don't know.
Steve Pieczenik now came out in favor of RDS, which is another thing that makes me not trust Pieczenik.
What? Let's clear this up right now. What did I tell you about Robert David Steele a long time ago? There was something that wasn't fitting properly with him and with the Congresswoman. And as the thing moved along, I became more and more convinced that there wasn't something correct there. You also saw it, and at this point, what are my thoughts and feelings on Robert David Steele? I couldn't agree with you and Crowdsource more that he is breaking the law. Several felonies, for one. The fact that his own nonprofit organization isn't operating properly, correct?
That's correct.
There you go. We move from Robert David Steele, and then we take a look, for example, at Steve Pieczenik. And I'm very familiar with Pieczenik. And what did I tell you then? If you look at him, the way he smiles, and what was his nickname? We called him the Shark. That's what he's known as, the Shark. And that guy will get into your head and screw you up, no doubt about it. And so what is Pieczenik doing? Exactly what Pieczenik has always done. He's running a PSYOP.
Yeah.
He's running a PSYOP. He's a mad scientist, I'm telling you right now. He's a mad scientist. And what he'll do, the guy is resilient. And why is he resilient? Because he doesn't give a flying frig what people think. He doesn't care. Because to him, what people think and the information that comes back, if it's in his favor or not in his favor, he doesn't care, because all of that information, as a mad scientist, is simply data to him. It's data. So what are my thoughts on Steve Pieczenik? I don't trust him at all. Not even a little bit. And I'm flat out telling you, the guy has done some nasty-ass shit throughout the world.
Right.
So, there you go. Now when people say, well, what about Steve Pieczenik? Steve Pieczenik is a great guy. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. And if you think he is, then he's already gotten into your head too. Nope. Steve Pieczenik is doing exactly what Steve Pieczenik has always done, running a PSYOP. And he ran a PSYOP on Alex Jones. So is Alex paid opposition? Where does Alex fit in? I don't know. As far as me and the Hudson groups go, it's a flip of the coin right now. But we know a lot of the people around him are no good. Absolutely no stinking good. What can I say?
Now, what did you think about this hearing yesterday with Tom Fitton and Luke Rosiak and the congressman?
Oh, my gosh. That was painful. That was painful to listen to, and unfortunately, I ended up listening to that video several times now. And they really screwed the pooch on this thing.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's great that Congressman Gomer decided to put a unofficial. Really, it was an unofficial meeting. I don't think it was a hearing, so to speak. I mean, nobody was sworn in or anything like that that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
So he's got a few congressmen that have come in, and they give Luke Rosiak and they give Tom Fitton an opportunity to lay it out to them. It was obvious that we were very successful in our clear and present danger report.
I think so.
Oh yeah, because as the conversation moved on, and it went to the other congressmen other than Gomer, it became extremely evident that they were aware of the information in the report, and they wanted Rosiak and they wanted Fitton to delve into that, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. And the only thing out of Rosiak's mouth on more than one occasion, in our opinion, is, without mentioning names, he didn't mention your name. He didn't mention Crowdsource the Truth. He didn't mention George Webb, but he certainly didn't give you or Mr. Webb any accolade whatsoever, and referred to you as internet, I don't know if he used
speculators
non-investigator
or something.
speculators,
Random speculators on the internet, yeah.
Yeah, that's how he referred to you.
Well, the other thing he did that I found particularly objectionable was that he avoided mentioning Laurel Everly. He avoided mentioning any of the evidence that came out of 4809 Sprayer Street, which you, the various people that you've consulted with, Thomas Paine, everybody considered that really substantial proof of an off-site server. I don't even know why, George keeps referring to a server at Hawkshead, but where is there any evidence of that? There's evidence of stolen equipment, but there's no evidence of an active server there.
Well, it's just like the movie Devil's Advocate, right? Al Pacino was playing the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he say vanity was his favorite sin?
I don't know that movie very well.
I think that's what he said. So poor old Luke Rosiak, his vanity got the best of him. He can't and doesn't want to talk about any information that didn't come from him directly, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, I don't know why Mr. Webb doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't understand about George sometimes. I don't want to take away from the extensive hard work that he's done and the shoe leather that he's burned, But
right.
I don't know. Is it vanity? Is it vanity? I mean, look at Alex. Go back to Alex Jones. Alex Jones can never give any credit to anybody but himself.
Hmm.
You ever notice that?
Yeah.
He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. I'm telling you. I won't stay on it. But I was truly disappointed in both Tom Fitton and Luke Rosiak. I think the gentlemanly thing to do, if they honestly care about getting the truth out, which I now question, that they should have invited you and they should have invited Mr. Webb to be at that meeting.
Well, or at least share our information.
I'm just giving my opinion, and in my opinion, the gentlemanly thing to do would have been to invite the two of you to attend that meeting, and they didn't by choice.
Right.
The other thing that got to me is that they had an opportunity towards the end of this thing when the other congressmen were there who I believe are aware of the clear and present danger report, and hopefully, Jason, we're going to be able to push on that a little bit harder, right?
Yep.
They were him-hauling around, didn't know how to respond, didn't want to go down that road, and then when they did, with their so-called IT expert, I don't know where that guy came from, but honestly, I question his so-called expertise.
Yeah.
The question came across by a congressman as to how big a terabyte is.
That was ridiculous.
And of course, they said that Awan had mentioned that he had a 7-year-old girl in grade school, and it was her homework, right? It was homework.
Mm-hmm.
But they never really, although they touched on it, they never really delved into it to the point to let these men know, to let these congressmen know just how ridiculous of a statement that was, how much of a lie, a manipulative lie it is from Awan's attorney, that jerk-off. And they didn't go into that. And the IT expert that they had, he mouths out that an email was a gigabyte.
Yeah, that was just the most ridiculous,
So for the crowdsource audience, let's take a look at a terabyte here for just a second. What is, how big, how much information does a terabyte hold?
A lot.
It's 85,899,345 pages of Word documents.
Yeah.
86 million pages.
I mean, I think they said something like an email is a gigabyte or something ridiculous like that. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find an email account that could accommodate a 1 gigabyte attachment. I don't know if that exists.
It's who was this IT expert?
Yeah, total joke.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I hope he's listening. You're an idiot. Whoever the hell you are, you're an idiot that you did not know what a terabyte, how big a terabyte is, and that it doesn't, and that a terabyte can hold 86 million pages of homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember doing those 86 million page reports.
The kid would graduate from college by the time she got done.
Look, I mean, that's 132,000 books. Okay? If a book was 650 pages each, that's which is a big book. 650 pages.
Mm-hmm.
A terabyte would hold 132,000 books. It would take 5,506 years to read, even at my speed, and I read pretty fast. It would take me, I figured it up. I know, I just thought you might find this interesting, but I figured it up. Okay, what is if I'm really doing my speed reading and wanted to read 132,000 books, 650 pages each, how many years would it take me? It'd take me about 5,500 years.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, absolutely crazy.
Oh, I can remember that kind of homework when I was in grade school. Can't you, Jason? You remember doing those? Yeah. So a terabyte. How big is a terabyte? Well, it's 200,000 songs, which is 17,000 hours of music, and it's 500 hours of a high quality, high definition movie.
Mm-hmm. That's
a terabyte. If you want to look at it from pictures, photographs, 310,000 photographs on 1 terabyte.
Mm.
They screwed up, and they screwed up big time.
Mm-hmm.
Because those congressmen, when they had an opportunity to explain to the congressmen that Imran Awan has been running a God blessed Pakistani ISI Muslim Brotherhood spy ring in Congress, they screwed the pooch. Tom Fitton, I hope you're listening. Yesterday, during that hearing, you should have known your shit. And Luke Rosiak, I'm completely disappointed in you.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of hard work that has gone into this on Imran Awan. A lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be honest about it. After what you did, Luke, yesterday with the congressman, I wouldn't hire you to read a bedtime story to my grandchild. So I hope you do hear it, because that's really how I feel about you right now. So anyway, Jason, you can tell I've not gotten a lot of sleep even yet, being gone those several days.
Well, I understand you being upset. I mean, as you said, this is stuff we've all been working on for months, and it's got really nothing to do with us. This is, one of the most important things that we could be dealing with right now, and when I just don't understand why Luke doesn't want to talk about the evidence that came out of 4809 Sprayer Street, and why Sean Boberg didn't want to publish anything about Laurel Everly and waited until one day after we revealed the hidden network topology at 4809 Sprayer Street to take a GQ glamour shot of Imran Awan outside of Gowan, Rhodes, Winograd, and Silva, and then write what the very editors of the Washington Post themselves called a disgraceful puff piece. I don't really understand that.
Well, when you go into the swamp, there's all kinds of creatures, and you just never know. You just never know what swamp creature is dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. I mean, I've always admired the work that Tom Fitton has done at Judicial Watch. Quite frankly, I've always kind of looked forward to reading Luke Rosiak's articles.
Mm-hmm.
But they screwed up, and they need to be told that they screwed up, and by darn, I'm telling them that they screwed up and why they screwed up. Now, the question is, did they do it on purpose? Are they part of the damn swamp? Or not? I don't know. I don't know. But they should have done. They had an opportunity, and to really talk about this, and they didn't. They didn't. They hem-hawed around. The congressman started pushing, even practically begging them. Well, you've told us the best case scenario. Tell us the worst case scenario. They couldn't even answer that.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, they just, why? Because I guess they just didn't want to get into trouble. And how could they get into trouble? They asked for an opinion. What is the worst case scenario in your opinion? They even gave them a back door out of this thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure Tom Fitton's sitting there and Luke Rosiak, and they're probably saying, oh my God, who is this guy? With the Hudson groups. And who does he think he is that he's saying that we screwed up? And gee, what could we have said? Well, you could have said that you think that there's a very strong possibility, or there could be a spy ring that was orchestrated by Imran Awan, and that Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz was aware of it, that she's a traitor, and that this information was ultimately going to former Congressman Weiner, excuse me, and to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
That they did, in fact, break into top secret information, although people want to say, oh, well, it's not possible that they could have gotten top secret information. I don't believe that for 1 second. We were told that there was no way top secret information was compromised with Hillary Clinton with her bathroom servers. Only to find out later that that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So the whole damn thing has been compromised, and you have to ask yourself, well, was this by design? Is this part of the pay-for-play scheme? Were they collecting information from the various congressmen and the various departments of the U.S. Congress and the Senate and the government? And then good old Hillary Clinton was doing a song and dance along with Bill playing a banjo while they went and fleeced countries and intelligence agencies of these countries?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, do we have some good information for you. It'll cost this much. And they sold the information.
Yeah.
Pay for play. Treason. Traitors and spies. Imran Awan, Hina Albi should be arrested. They should be in custody.
Well, they're basically
frankly,
removing GPS trackers and giving them, Hina's on her personal reconnaissance.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I could care less what happens to a spy in many respects, because spies are spies and they're doing their job. And the people that should be blamed for having a spy in their midst are the people that hired the individual and didn't do a proper background check, et cetera, et cetera. Those people should be fired.
Right.
Imran Awan as a spy, and his wife Hina Alvi and the others who were most likely spies. Well, you work a deal out, you identify them, and then you exchange them, right? You send them back with a good boot up their ass back to their country, never to return.
Right.
That's how you deal with a spy. The traitors that were involved, you frickin' hang them. You hang them. Oh boy, here we go. Hudson again, talking about hanging who? Anybody who committed treason against this nation. Anybody who was complicit with these damn spies. People want to know where Hudson stands. I'll tell you where he stands. I would hang the sons of bitches publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Publicly.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but it's a reasonable suggestion.
Well, who can say, but that's what I would do.
Right.
They'd get a nice trial. They'd get convicted of their treason, and then it would be televised. I really don't care what people think. People can think whatever they want. We're too soft in this nation. We're too soft. The United States has become a bunch of pansies. I'm sorry. I mean, never in my day did I think, for one, that we would see the pussy hat revolution.
Right.
But it didn't bother me until I saw men, or these things that were supposed to be men, walking down with wearing pussy hats too. But, you know, the more I looked at them and the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, you know, there we go. We have truly become a weak nation, and other countries feel the same way. Trust me on that one. Oh, Russian special forces, the Spetsnaz, they laugh. They seriously laugh at the general populace of the United States. Fat and weak. And I could name some other countries as well. But yeah, that's exactly what they think of the United States. Beer, guzzling, pizza eating, NASCAR watching, pot-bellied, soft. Individuals that don't even stand up for anything. Oh, well, you know, they'll hold their beer and yell into the camera, USA, but they won't do anything about it. Threaten. As they yell at the wife to grab them another cold one. So anyway, you look to me like you got a lot of editing to do. You may or may not want me on this evening with you and the Queen.
I want you on this evening with Queen Tut for sure. I think what we should do, Mr. Hudson, is, you know, put this call up as quickly as I can and start to get ready for tonight's show. I've got a lot of stuff to prepare for. I'm just looking at the flights and everything right now.
Sure, I understand, buddy. I truly do. And I hope I'm not out of line when I mentioned the economic or the money aspect of the work that you're doing, but it takes money, and I feel for you. I wish there was something we could do about it, but like I said, you know, we've been operating on our own dime as well. We're not asking anybody to assist us whatsoever. We don't want that. We'll continue to do what we can out of our own pockets. But I'm going to speak for you, and if you all out there in the crowdsource audience, you know, I know you're great people. I know you are. But in order for this thing to continue, Jason needs money to operate on, bottom line. So, and if I overstep myself, I apologize, Jason, but that's really what it comes down to, because the trips that you're about to take are going to run $2-3 grand. So,
yeah, the flights are expensive. It's pretty last minute. But I appreciate everything you're saying, Mr. Hudson, and I appreciate you putting that out there for me. So let me get this call up on the YouTube channel, and we'll speak to you later tonight.
Yep. Okay. We care about you. Oh, by the way, you know, when you were running around the building waiting for Awan to come out, you were chasing. We were really proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't mind telling you. I said, look at that little rascal run.
You know, sometimes you got to.
Take care, Jason.
All right, Mr. Hudson. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.